So in the year of 2022, what cars are we excited about at Is It Fast? Allow me to start with the following. We have a bit of a soft spot for Italian cars that don't work so good most of the time. And in 2022...
But it's got a real pretty mouth.
It's got a real pretty mouth. The Maserati Gran Turismo is promised to have its unveiling. So Maserati... they are famed for making cars that are beautiful, that go quickly, but frankly sometimes break down. 2022 is the year that they're going to bring us the new Gran Turismo. The Gran Turismo that was around for about 12 years was discontinued last year. We've seen it only undercover, out and about. Autocar brought these images to the fold a little while ago. The V8 engine of the Maserati Gran Turismo looks like it's going to be going to be replaced with a V6 power unit. It's just the way the world is going. I don't have a problem with it per se. But also Maserati promising that they're going to go all electric in the very near future, both with the Gran Turismo that is going to be revealed this year and also their MC20, which frankly is a very expensive motor car. I don't know how they're selling after they came out last year. But car number one that we are excited about is the brand new Maserati Gran Turismo being unveiled. We all know how much we love those. What do we think? Mazza?
Very much so. We are both suckers for Maserati. Somewhere between a Grand Tourer and a sports car for me. Still manages to impress despite being about 10 years old and a little bit outdated. Like, some people have come away and said this is painfully outdated compared to some of the modern stuff out there, but for me, sleek Italian design for me just masks the weight and size issues that it can have pretty well. It's still a car that performs well, and it's going to put a smile on your face, and it's going to turn heads if you drive past someone in it. Full stop. It's a winner.
Yeah, exactly. The old Gran Turismo definitely was showing its age. So when they've, the fact they've discontinued it, I don't know, 3 months ago, probably makes sense. So yeah, the new one is going to be awesome. Now, for everyone that moans about the new Land Rover Defender being a little bit too premium, a little bit too posh, a little bit too comfortable, don't worry, because 2022 is the year that the Ineos Grenadier is going to be yours, apparently. £48,000, you can bring a hose inside and hose it down. It is brought to us by the UK's wealthiest man, Sir Jim Ratcliffe. He is the guy behind the company Ineos. You might see them plastered all over F1 cars. You might also see them on a bike team. They have a bike, like a cycling team called the Ineos Grenadiers. He is also the owner of Nice Football Club, but Ineos, he made all his money from chemicals basically. But this is the Ineos Grenadier, four-wheel drive, very utilitarian. We've already had road tests in it and all that kind of thing, and off-roading tests, and it looks pretty good. But this is the year that you'll be able to order and get one delivered, apparently. So the Defender that's more Defender than the Defender is going to be this year. Cool, right? I mean, it's all right.
Very much so. Compared to this, you've got to call the Defender the Grenadier Light with lemon or something like that. This is absolutely perfect for what you're looking to do for this time of thing. The inside of it is a little bit disappointing. It kind of looks like a kid's drawing with 1980s Arnie buttons inside. Everybody get to the Grenadier. But you're looking at a 4x4 that's going to go on sale. It is an all-terrain vehicle for around about, they're saying, £48,000 as a two-seater commercial version. If that's the actual price, this is going to sell really well. You might not see many on the roads unless you're around farmland, but this is something that, God, I'd love to get my hands on. I didn't get my my free cars that I wanted from Santa, one of which was a Hummer. I think I would take this in its place.
It's grown on me, actually, the Ineos Grenadier. And they started kind of showing prototypes about 18 months ago. Then they revealed the whole thing late in 2021. And the fact that we're going to see them on the road in 2022, I think is quite exciting. I think they've made a good car, if I'm honest. I think that's fair play because it got slated early doors. So, yes, the Ineos Grenadier, we're excited about that in 2022. A defender that isn't a defender. They're going to hate me for saying that. But there we go. The next car that we are excited about in 2022 is it's an electric car. It's called the Lucid Air. It is an American car. It is they call it an electric performance saloon, which is actually a term that seems to be coming along quite a bit at the moment. They did actually start manufacturing prototypes of this September, October 2021. It's going to be made in Arizona. Don't know if that's a material fact. What? Tell us in the comments what else comes out of Arizona that is good. It's going to have 1,065 brake horsepower and a claimed maximum range of more than 500 miles. I think it's gorgeous, and I'm looking forward to working versions, basically a real version of this, being out and about in 2022. They have said that this is coming to the UK. So the Lucid Air, that's a car, right? That is a car you can get behind.
This is beautiful. This is the Tesla Model S rival, priced around the £40,000 mark. Apparently, Lucid are claiming they've already taken 13,000 reservations on it. It's certainly got a better look than a Tesla. Sorry, Tesla guys out there. The interior looks better. It's better conceived even. The only real fly in the ointment for me is no outsider has had the test drive of this. Basically, you're going to have to buy this car and then see if you like it and drive it. The design is absolutely beautiful, though. I love that back wing. Absolutely gorgeous. But I'd love to know the cost of replacing the windscreen / roof if a little stone bounces up from a truck in front of you.
Yeah,
because that's a long way back there.
It is. I love it. Yeah. I mean, I'm a sucker for these kind of things anyway. I'm very excited to see. Do they have a 14-day cooling off period if they can't give you a chance to drive it before it's delivered? It probably won't come to the UK for another couple of years, will it? Let's be honest. But it will hit roads somewhere, probably bigger journalists than I, and we'll end up driving this year somewhere in the US. But if Lucid, if you're watching and you want to fly, it's probably your turn, isn't it? If you want to fly either one of us to the US to give this a go, then we will do. Fair play on aesthetics alone. I think this is very exciting this year. So that's going to be cool. We carry on our list of cars that we're excited about in 2022. Fiska. Fiska has been around for a while. Ofcom, if you're listening. Mr. Fiska has been a car designer for a while. You might even tell us some of the famous cars that he's designed. I think he designed...
I hope that wasn't directed at me.
He has designed cars like the BMW Z8, the Aston Martin DB9, the Aston Martin V8, Vantage. So Henrik Fiska, who is now the CEO and founder of Fiska, knows his way around a car. I think it's fair to say. He's very, very good at it. And Fiska then have gone on, founded by Henrik Fiska, to do electric cars, EVs. He had a kind of a saloon that came out a little while ago, didn't really do so well. If you're familiar with the YouTubing world, Salamandrin, a massive car YouTuber in the US, has got a Fiska. But this is the Fiska Ocean. And it's very exciting because I think, first of all, it looks the part. It's going to be made in Graz in Austria, so it might get to the UK market a bit sooner. It'll probably arrive in the UK towards the end of 2023, but working models of this will be available this year, 2022, to have a play with. It's rivaling the Audi Q4 e-tron, the BMW iX3, and it's going to be kind of cheap. That's the point, right?
Well, yeah, UK prices haven't been confirmed, but they're ballparking between 28,000 to about kind of 51, 52,000.
Mm.
That's not bad because this is still a nice looking SUV. It's got a much nicer dash system than the kind of god awful nothingness that you see in so many kind of cars these days. It's really nice on the inside. As you say, kind of taking on the Audi Q4 e-tron as
Mhm.
well as the BMW iX3. I got the image of the silver version, and it looks so much like the RoboCop helmet. It is unbelievable.
It really does, actually, especially from the back.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to this rather than watching this, it is, imagine your standard SUV has ploughed into Robocop's head, but not in a bad way. It's a very striking. I believe the roof has got solar panels, so it charges as
Oh,
it drives. I don't know if that's true, but it kind of makes sense to me if it is true. It's a very, very interesting thing. I've been watching the development of Fiska over the last 2 or 3 years really keenly, and I think someone with that pedigree in the automotive world and automotive space, he was bound to get it right eventually.
yeah.
But it is a car I'm very excited about seeing rolling around in 2022. I know it'll just be test drives. I get that. Prototype versions, I get that. But it's still going to be really, really cool. Tell us what you think so far of the list. Is anything that we've picked for this year tickling your pickle? Or are you just not that bothered about our list? Or are you maybe not that intrigued by the fact that we've picked a couple of EVs? Because if you are, don't worry, because the next car on our list is petrol powered. 2022 is the year that we are going to start seeing the new BMW 2 Series hit our roads. You've been able to order one since the end of 2021. But this year, the M240i will be, in theory, on UK roads, but also they will be revealing the brand new BMW M2, which I am very, very excited about. A very close friend of mine owns the generation before this, and it is possibly the best all-round performance coupe that I've been in for a long time. We don't know anything about the new M2, but it will share probably a dulled down version of the current M3 generations engine. So you're looking at like 370 to 450 brake, four-wheel drive system with a rear-wheel bias, undoubtedly. The M240i, which is what you're looking at here, which looks very similar to the old 2 Series, just slightly more angular, is a belter, isn't it?
You know what? Punchier, sharper, sleeker. I know this is sounding a little bit like the M2's Tinder profile, but this is one hot coupe. More powerful, greater torque, but sharp too.
Mm-hmm.
It's still purest for its driving car abilities. Obviously, broader spread of the characteristics, greater divide between comfort and sport. But I really like what I've seen so far. The current M2, as you said, is fantastic. So for me, it's kind of hard to see where they're going to improve this. But quite a few times I've been in one, I've been able to enjoy it. Its performance, its tight chassis. Now I'm really sounding like I should be on Grinder with this. But no, really looking forward to seeing it. This is
Yeah,
going to be fantastic.
I love it. When it comes to the 2 Series, I'm going to say something slightly controversial. I think the
Oh,
M240i is the one to go for. Even, I don't know, obviously, I don't know what the new generations are going to be like. I'll wait until I have a go in one. But the having driven an M2, the old version, and been in an M240i, the M2 on UK roads is just a little bit too much every single day. The M240i, 3 litre V6, trust me, it's plenty quick enough, but it's just a little bit softer. And I don't know, it's because I'm now really getting into the swagger of my 30s that I just think, why do you need something so hardcore? Let alone the M2 competition. That is just a backbreaker. I mean, performance-wise, fantastic. You can't really apply it. Wouldn't you rather a car you can use most of its performance rather than kind of, a quarter of its performance. So that's that is my take on the Air 2 Series, if I'm honest. But if a 2 Series isn't enough for you, it's the big one this year. It's the big one. Forever, BMW fans have been waiting for an M3 Tourer. I am one of those. I've seen lots of conversions. I know that you can convert a lot of 320 and 330 Tourers into something that is just as performance focused. But this year is the year that BMW officially give us and show us the M3 Tourer. It's going to be the first M3 Touring estate ever. It's going to be taking on the C63 and the RS4 Avant. Probably going to have a 3-litre twin-turbo engine. We know that because there's already an M3 out. 480 horsepower, we reckon. And then if you get the competition, probably 510 horsepower. Again, we know that because there's already an M3 of this generation out on the road. They reckon there's going to be a manual.
Oh,
that's pretty exciting.
It is.
And then four-wheel drive system, exactly like the M3 that we've got now, but you can dial it up and down. But this, I am genuinely, when they announced this in 2020, I was like, done. Go back and watch the Is It Fast news from, I think, September 2020 or whatever it was. I was so excited about this M3 coming out because I like the M products, but an M3 Tourer is what it's been missing. You've got the C63 estate, you've got the A4 Avant, and BMW were just like, nah, forget it. No one buys them. No one buys a hot estate. Lies. And they've obviously woken up because this is the year we get to see this without the camouflage on. Oh, man, it's going to be sick.
Yeah, I always feel a hot estate is a bit of an oxymoron, like a lead balloon or an other Stuart. But in the M3 Touring's history of 34 years, yes, older than us, they've never been able to produce this. And it does kind of make me wonder why they've not done it before. This is going to be a lot of excitement. Can't wait to see one. Hopefully we get to have a shot of one. As you said, gearbox option is going to be likely as well for it, and an option to switch to a four-wheel drive version as well. In it.
Yeah. It's going to be good.
This is going to be well anticipated. Yeah.
I think so. The latest M3 generation, the latest M3 saloon or sedan, if you're watching or listening in the United States, is incredible, right? Like, it's a really good bit of kit. It's completely and totally proven to be a return to form. This M3 Tourer, when it gets revealed later on this year, I think it's going to blow some cobwebs off. But cars that we want to see in 2022, I'm going to be honest, not everything can be super exciting and super quick. But Kia. Now, Kia are a company that I'm not going to lie. Kia are a company that I've been very interested in for the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Not so interested in 10 years prior to that. But they're coming out with some corkers.
They really are.
The new Kia Sportage is something that I think is going to set them apart from the other run-of-the-mill cars out there. Yeah. And I don't mean that as an insult, but it's a fifth-generation Sportage. You can go out and order one right now, I think. It's going to start at around about 25 grand for a basic petrol model with a manual gearbox. And that's a little bit more expensive, about 1,500 quid more expensive than its main rival, which is the Nissan Qashqai. Now, I'm not going to buy a Sportage, and I'm not going to buy a Qashqai. I'm not the market. However, they sell boatloads of Sportages, and I think it's important that even if you're not into cars and your car is just a tool, and that's fine, there's nothing wrong with that. Cars are predominantly a tool, I will say that. But it's so cool that Kia have pushed the envelope from a design and aesthetic perspective, from an interior aesthetic and standard equipment perspective. I'm really excited about the Sportage. And that's something I never thought I'd ever say, just because it looks mental. It looks like something I would draw as a 7-year-old. And that's pretty cool.
For me, you kind of hit the nail on the head with it there. Kia's something we've gone from, oh yeah, it's a Kia, within the last kind of good few years, half decade to going, oh, Kia.
Mm-hmm.
They've really kind of turned it around. They have gone through a big brand redevelopment, but most importantly, this is now the 5th generation, so they're starting to get a lot of refinement in their cars. You're getting a lot more in the way of handling precision, technology, space, and alternative styling. They're doing it extremely well at an extremely affordable cost. For me, the glossy kind of black contrasting body trims really complete it, and it does look quite sci-fi.
It does sci-fi. No, I know what you mean. It does look. It does.
I just don't think you
odd.
forget this design in a hurry, and there'll be a lot of people that will look at this and go, "Oh, wow, it's a Kia."
Yeah,
and not in an offensive way.
No, I know exactly what you mean. It looks a little bit like. I mean, it is the cousin of the Hyundai Tucson, so I do get that. It does look a bit Tucson-y, but at the same time, I'm really impressed with Kia across the board, actually, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what people think of this year and how many they sell, because people need cars like this. And Kia have always been the sportier of that group. You know, Hyundai were always the luxurious ones. Kia were always the sportier ones, and that's kind of changed recently with the Hyundai N Performance range. So yeah, very, very interested to see the Sportage. And then lastly, our last car that we're interested in having a go at and with in 2022 is the Vauxhall Astra, known in Europe as the Opel Astra. It is included in this list because I know you don't like it. So I included it primarily for that reason. But also, I'm willing to give the Vauxhall Astra another chance because I drove a Vauxhall Mocha last year on test, and I was really pleasantly surprised. And this is going to share the DNA of that type of feel. And it's going to be modeled. It's modeled on the 308. It's part of this wider Stellantis group platform. So essentially, it's a Peugeot underneath. I like the styling. It will probably drive quite well because they've played around with it, and you hate it, and that's why it's on my 2022 list.
And I don't know if I totally and utterly hate this. There's a lot going on. First impressions, it does look good, and it has a lot of kind of presence for a family hatchback. Front view, go on.
You said when this got announced, and I can't remember what show it was. You ripped into this so hard, and I'm gonna find it.
I'm backpedaling. Yeah, you can intersplice me going through it like a hot knife through butter. Front view of it does look a little bit like a Mustang. I don't know if I should be impressed or offended by that. The interior for it, I don't know if you've got a picture. And I've lost them, people.
No, I've not got a picture.
Professionalism hasn't got any better on the Is It Fast podcast. We can all feel this. The interior, they've really just copied the VW Golf 8 on it, but it looks a little bit like the Kia Exceed. Am I wrong saying that?
No, I mean they all kind of look the same now.
Yeah,
family hatchbacks of a certain price and ability. Awesome. Good. Well, I'm glad you like it because I'm quite excited about having a go in the new Vauxhall Astra this year. Not something I ever thought I'd say, but I quite like the styling, and I bet the performance is actually pretty okay. I also bet the Bogo standard is rubbish inside. I will say that as a caveat.
Will be that.
So yes, the Vauxhall Astra, a car that Stu hated when it was revealed, now has decided it's not so bad, which I think is great. So that's very, very funny. I'm going to find that clip and show it next week. I promise you that. So tell us what you think. What car are you excited about for 2022? There are an awful lot of cars that are going to be revealed and released during the course of the next 12 months. We have picked just 5 to get us started, but as we all know, we shall be changing our minds with the traffic lights, as Stu has just shown there. But very interested to know how you all feel at home. What are you looking forward to the most this year? Or a number of cars? Please do let us know. Remember that if you subscribe to Is It Fast on any of our social media channels or head to our website, there is a damn good chance that we will be reviewing the car that you are most interested in 2022. And we will be able to give you a no-holds-barred opinion on that car, which we will then change according to my co-host later
See,
on.
See, I might have just been in a really bad mood that day when I was writing it up.
You really could have been. Oh dear. Oh, excellent.